Carry on in, hunker on down, and join me for some hook. I've got to get this first take because my marshmallows and my hot chocolate will melt otherwise. Welcome to week 1 signatures, and I'm at the Coos Cake Tail, as I was saying earlier on, but I'm going to do something very different from everyone else. To start with, some details you need to know. 30% code for the kit. No, there's no code. You automatically get 30% off. You don't even need a code. But you can find where to get the kits below that I showed you last week, that people have been using Sunday, Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday, apart from me. But I'll get more to that later. You find all the kits below. You'll find the other 7 videos linked below. If you haven't already seen them, please go and see them. Fabulous stuff going on. Fabulous stuff. Me, I'm not using the kit, as I've just said. This is a collaboration for October 24th. And I'm not using the kit because I'm going to do something slightly different. If you saw the launch videos from Karin and Stacy, you've heard them both say the kit isn't necessary. And I'm going to prove to you that the kit isn't necessary. I'm going to use the freebies. I'm also going to give you lots of ideas, even if you don't have a printer. So while I'm going to use everybody's freebies, I'm not just going to use my freebies, I'm going to use everybody's freebies. I'm only going to print them on one side. Oh, you got a sneaky preview of something I'm going to be doing later. I'm going to give you lots of ideas as to what you can do to make your own kind of autumny snuggle. Coorie is a Scottish word which means kind of really kind of cuddling close and get comfy and you know, it's that kind of all thing. Anyway, let me show you. Let me have some more. I hope you've got a hot chocolate or something. I do love marshmallows and a hot chocolate. Oh, they're just that way when they all start to melt. Right, okay. Okay. Let me show you the freebies. You will need to go to each of the individuals. If you haven't already downloaded their freebies, you need to go and find their freebies and download them. I'm not going to tell you where their freebies are. You'll need to find out for yourself. It's a bit of a game. I will tell you who has the freebies. This is Karin and Stacy's. These next 2, and I can't remember which way around they are, so you'll need to go and see both their channels if you want either of these. These are Monday's freebies. Monday it was Anna and Dora. These are Tuesday's freebies. And these are, these are all, should have said that at the start, these are all Karin's freebies. There's another set of freebies to come. These are Tuesday's freebies, and Tuesday was Jodi and Tracy. And these are today's freebies, and Santhini's freebie is that one, and this is, no, yes, we're the Hedgehog Day, and my freebie. So they're the freebies from Karin for this week's signatures. These are the freebies from Stacy for this week's signatures, and again you can get this one from Stacy and Karin. You can get these. One of these comes from Dora and one comes from Anna, but I can't remember which is which. One of these comes, these are Tuesday's freebies. One comes from Jodi and one comes from Tracy. These are today's freebies. That one's Santhi, and this is my freebie for today from Stacy. Ta-da! So that's all the freebie pages. So I don't have the kit, but I've got these, and that means I have 14 pages to work with. You might think, well, that's not going to be much for journal, 14 pages. 28 doubled over. Well, I've got things planned. Let's just leave it at that for the moment. One of the things I've already done, which I can't really show you if I can find it, because it takes, I can't get you in a position to really see it, is I have a box where I do my spray inking, and this is what I've done on the back of, I'm going to do some more of them as well. I've already done some of them because there's another stage to this, and I'm going to show you. First, I'm going to have another spoonful of marshmallows. So good. That does make me feel all kind of woo. So what I've done is, on the back of some of these, I've already done it, I'll probably still do some more. I have sprayed the following: forest moss, and after the forest moss I spritz with some water. On top of that I then put, that's distress oxide. I then put wild honey spray stain, followed by some rusty hinge sprayed stain. Now if you can see here, the kind of background spraying that's darker is the forest moss, the yellowy is the wild honey, and the more orangey red is the rusty hinge. Then on top of all of that, I've used Scotch timber, but I've taken I've taken out like that, and I've just splattered it, so you get these kind of brown leaves as they're starting to decay on the top. Then I've left it for like literally 20 seconds and just patted off any excess moisture, and then left it to dry. And this is the kind of effect you get, and they're all slightly different. One of the ones was very different because I sprayed it wrong, and I sprayed the Scotch timber down first, and I thought, oh, that's the wrong one, and I just left it. It's a lot darker. Let's go on to the next bit, shall we? I then die cut leaves out of them. Look at all these. Look at all these. Aren't these lovely? You see, that's the one where I did Scotch timber as the instead of forest moss as the base spray. So you can see it's darker, but that's okay. So it means I've got the pages on one side, and I've got this on the other side, so I can use a mixture of these. So I have all these, and I've still got more to do. This one is a particularly fine leaf, isn't it? I'll show you the die cuts I used. There's a couple of leaves, these ones, that it's a generic die cut, and I can't tell you where they came from. And there's another leaf somewhere, and I don't know where it is. And when I find it, there it's there. This is another leaf set by Tim Holtz. I don't have the packaging for it anymore. Oh, but it's got the number on the back of the die. I should have thought about that. I'll get you the number for this one. But this prints out, in effect, well, I'll show you that at a later date, rather than going down that. For the rest of these, apart from these ones that are these solid ones, these ones here as well with the kind of notches, are these two sets. This is Sizzix Thinnits, and it's 66095, and I use this one a lot because you get medium-sized leaves, you get kind of smaller leaves, you get, if I can find them, bigger leaves, great big leaves, and you get tiny leaves. Really is like having playing in the leaves. Big leaves, and but you also get tiny leaves as well. So I really like this set, and you get 4 sizes. There's 4 different leaves. It's like a maple leaf, That's an oak leaf. That's kind of a bit like an oak leaf as well. And this is a more generic leaf, and you get them in the 3 sizes. So there's lots of variety, and it just makes such brilliant leaf litter. I really like this die set. I recommend, if you haven't got any leaf cuts and you want something that you're going to use a lot and buy, I would say that this is a great. You've also got these branches, so you can put leaves on these if you want. This is the other one I've used. This is number 666380. I'll link these below. And these are the ones that are kind of shaped like that, or have the notches out of them. If I could find one with a notch out, which I can't now, of course. There. Notches out of them. And this is a 2-part die set. These centres, which also end up being the stalks, are you cut out separately, but I'm not going to use them at all. Well, I might use some of them, but I'm not going to cut any of them out at the moment because of what I'm going to use these leaves for. So that's slightly different. That's more abstract leaves maybe. This one's more kind of true leaf looking. What I'm going to do is I'm going to clear all this away because I can't actually work. I don't have a big enough workspace to have all these leaves and lights. And do you like my mushroom lights? I love my mushroom lights. I don't have enough space to work on stuff that's going to be a wee bit messy. So I'm going to push it all back. You might still be able to see it a bit, but I won't take it totally away. But I do need a bit more of my actual working space. I'm just going to put you on pause and I'll be back in a sec. The first thing I'm going to do is something with, which sheet shall I use? Let's use this one first. Because this, I think this is my freebie. This is my freebie. And I'm going to get my silicone mat. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to, well, that's a pretty boring page. I'm going to start by doing something. Brace yourself, brace yourself. I'm going to start by going something like that. I'm going to be using part pages for what I'm doing with my signatures. And so that's why I want some pages shorter than other pages longer. And one of the reasons I've torn this page in half is because I actually want this page that way up. Some pages you can get it away with turning upside down, some pages you can't. And I'll show you why you need to know beforehand, because what we're going to do is we're going to put this napkin on. Now, if I put this napkin on when the page was that way round, I'm not going to put it on this side, I'm going to put it on the blank side, so you're getting pages, you see, you're getting background pages instead of having to. So that makes perfect sense. I can have that there. But then if this page was still together, for example, I'd have to either patch on there and then do another one there. So that's not going to work. And the other thing is, if I do that, then that page really wants to be the other way around. If I want this page to still be a page where this is hanging down, I need to put my napkin on that way around, so that then once it's ready, it's that way around and these grasses are still the right. Does that make sense? I hope that made sense. I'll have to do a bit of squidgling about, I think. That's an official term. Squidgling about. We could probably take that up a bit because we've still got most things on there. This is the way I'm doing it on this instance. Now you can do it with PVA glue watered down. I'm using matte medium and a soft brush, and I'm just painting the matte medium on the back of this page. So have you had a look and seen what everybody's up to yet? Or are you waiting until you've got the catch-up days? Thursday, Friday and Saturday are your catch-up days if you've missed anything. Remember that if you want to enter the competition, then you'll need, well, it's not really, well, it's a competition, it's a prize draw, and there's lots of prizes. So to enter the competition, if you're watching this on repeat, as they say on the telly, then if it's past the end of October 2024, then you're too late. But if it isn't, you've got until the end of October 2024 to like and comment on each of the collaborators' videos. There's 8 of them a week over 4 weeks. And then you can get prizes. And then there's another week at the end when there's no collaborators videos, so there might be flip throughs and things and finishing up things, but there's no official collaborators videos, and that's a time for you to finish off your own journals. And if you post your own journal in Creative Paper Artisan or Crafty Dragons Creations Facebook groups, you will get another extra entry into the video. So place your napkin and then just gently with your fingers smooth it out. I don't get terribly bothered about the wrinkles. I don't get terribly bothered about wrinkles on me either. I think that's all part of the character. But if you don't like wrinkles, then this probably isn't the way to do it. You'd probably be much better doing it with watered down PVA glue and then you straight on. But I like the finish I get with the matte medium, which is why I use it. And then using a soft brush, you could use a harder brush. See, even that soft brush, I've managed to get a wee tear there. Using a soft brush, you can use a harder brush for when you're just putting it on originally, but using a soft brush, you're just going to, from the centre outwards, just paste another layer of matte medium, and this will stick and seal your napkin to the page, and then you'll have a really pretty autumnal page. I just love this one that's all kind of seed heads and things, but you could have one that was leaves. I've got a nice one that's leaves that you'll see later on, and I've got one that's kind of autumn trees. Looks like it could be New England. It's that kind of trees upon trees of red. And you could use anything that puts to you the feeling of at this time of year. So if you've got a napkin with piping mug of hot chocolate, you could use that to make a page. Or if you've got a napkin that's got a campfire, you could put that on your page, or a fire in a house, you could put that in the page, or whatever it is that says it to you. If you've got a napkin, you can use that on the back of your page. It doesn't need to be stuff that's already in the kit. It can be other elements that speak to you that aren't in the kit. Right. You could even, I mean, one of the things that this time of year always reminds me of, and because it's my husband's birthday in October, we always go away on holiday in October. And so actually I could even, if I wanted to do something, I'm not on a napkin because he's not on a napkin, but I could do something that reminds me of him. I mean, to tell you the truth, people, If you haven't gathered by the accent, I'm in Scotland, and there's nothing like Kaylee and whiskey by the fire. So if I had a napkin with whiskey on, that would actually say a bit of hook to me as well. So just whatever says it to you. I'm kind of keeping this quite kind of what's the word I want? Nature orientated, really. And you'll see that when I come. And that's just because I love this time of year. It does make me feel very warm and secure. As I said, we go away this in October, this time of year, and so it's so full of happy memories. The cottage we go to, I remember my parents are both dead, and it always brings back times I spent in that cottage with my parents as well. And so it's a kind of happy. They've been dead for, well, my mother's not so long dead, but my father's been dead now for nearly 20 years. So it's happy, warm, happy memories, not kind of sad memories. And my children both had so much fun when they were wee, playing in the leaves and running about there. And so it's a place full of happy memories and contentment and safety, and yeah. Okay, so that's done, and now I need to put that aside to dry. So I'm going to put you on pause while I wash my brush, and then I'll be back. Okay, let's get on with another page. So that's two ways of creating a page you've seen so far. One is to put a napkin on it. The second one was to spritz with your Tim Holtz inks. Oh, there's other spritzers around. It doesn't need to be the Tim Holtz Distress ones. You can use whatever you have. This next one, we need to do a little bit of prep work, because what I'm going to do on this one is I'm going to stencil. But the thing with it when you stencil is, if you've still got a lot of white behind, it can still look pretty stark. You don't really want transparent ink. You don't really want inks that aren't transparent, because then it becomes a very flat colour behind. Transparent inks allows a bit more life to happen. So what I'm going to do is, I've got a bit of cotton wool here, and I'm going to take a bit of this transparent burnt sienna, which is a kind of orangey reddy colour, and just put a couple of drops on there. And then I've put my glove on the wrong hand. Why did I do that? And then just with this, just run it over, and you'll end up getting. Now I suggest you put it on your cotton wool rather than directly on, because then you'll get a pull if you put it directly on. So just put it on your cotton wool, and then let your cotton wool do the work. That's okay, and I'm not bothering to change it. I'm also going to use some transparent raw sienna, and this is a kind of yellowy, earthy yellowy colour. I'm just going to put it on top of there. That's okay. And then I've also got some transparent burnt umber, the golden fluid acrylic in nickel azo yellow. So this, if you don't have these inks, you could use these instead. If you have these instead, I'm going to leave that to dry. We'll get on to the next thing. I'm just having to push everything back a bit further. So you shouldn't do is put it straight on the jelly plate, but I do. And then let's just move that around. Right. Now I have these stamps and these are children's foam stamps. I'm going to just let that dry for a bit. So on top of this, we're going to put a couple of colours. We're going to put a bit of this clay, and we'll put that bit of that there. we're going to put a bit of this pomegranate, which is kind of got some, just got some kind of purpley shades in it. And some of the leaves do go kind of purpley. We do have a full-blown purple, but I'm not going to use that. We're going to use some of this pineapple. This is a Deco Art Americana. And let's just, if you're new to jelly printing, what you should do is you should see how I'm lift and roll. Don't until you spread your paint, and then you can spread it out a bit more, but lift and roll rather than just rolling all the way in, otherwise you're going to end up disturbing your paint underneath, and you're just wanting a thin layer over here. You need to still be able to see your leaves underneath. Right, okay. And then what we're going to do now is, I'm going to roll that off for a start. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this leaf, right, and we'll let that dry again. Right, that's dried now. I've had a wee hygge moment finishing my hot chocolate, so we'll take that out the way, and that's dry. So we've now got to put another colour over the top so that we can lift it, because you need the wet paint to stick to the page to then lift all this colour off, which won't stick to the jelly plate because the jelly, what the jelly plate's made of. So the colour I'm going to actually use is this metallic copper. Alright, let's just pull this. Yeah, see, I didn't really get it wet enough. Never mind. Never mind. Oh, some of it's worked nice though. Right, let's put another layer of this green down. That needs to dry again. Okay, that's pretty dry. I'm now going to put another layer of this pomegranate because I'd like some more kind of this purpley colour, and I'm just going to put the pomegranate. I'm not going to put other colours on it this time. And then when this is dry, we'll come back. Okay. I have a horrible feeling I maybe didn't record that pull because I've just put that over there, brought this back to do it, and there isn't. I went to switch it on and it was, hold on a wee sec. This is the pull. Bits like this then we can deal with once it's on the page. An embellishment or a pocket or something can hide out that. You can see the leaves. It will change as it dries. It's still very moist, so I've put it aside to dry. There's something that I can do with it as well once it's dried, but for the time being I've put it on just aside to dry, and we've gone back to this ink page. So we're now going to do some stenciling on this ink page. So I've got some inks down, but I need to also decide on what I might use to stencil. Let's do those two like that. So let's start with this one. And so these are seed pods. Just thinking here, let's start with a bit of red. Light shining out, there you go, you can see it better. I'm going to go and clean off this stencil and I will be back. On to my next offering for you for what to do with pages. This is a bit of 140 GSM, that's £37 matte photo paper. This is a handful of frozen blueberries which have been put in a pan and no water or anything added to them. Just put them in a pan, lowest heat possible, and as they defrost, they just sink out all their juices. Once those juices are all out, let it keep on cooking away for a bit, and then once there's no liquid to be seen, just a kind of mush at the bottom, and just before you just get that starting smell of maybe something's catching, about to start getting burnt. Add some water at that stage, and suddenly you will get this thick, it's thicker, as you can see, it's thicker than water, because all the sugars you've created, released all the sugars as well as the juice from the blueberries. And as you do that, you end up with this colour that, as you can see on the screen, is less blue for a blueberry and more kind of reddy purple, more a red violet, as they would say if you're doing the colours. Now it does have a bit of reaction straight away, because this isn't just paper. I paint it over both sides, and this one's dried, and you can see how it dries kind of green, which is quite fascinating. And I've got these skeleton leaves, and what you do is, once it's dried, you've got to wait till it's dried. Once it's dried, just paint over the skeleton leaf. So you do that, and then you let that dry, and when you let it dry and then peel it off, you end up getting these patterns on the paper. Here is another idea for you. For those of you who've seen my channel before, you've seen recently I've started using making and using these foam stamps. You've not seen all of these before though, and what I will do is at some point over the weekend I'll put up a video of making, because I did actually think I'd quite like a foam stamp for this journal, so I'll do that on a video over the weekend. It's not part of the collaboration, but I'll do that on a video over the weekend for those of you who might be interested in how I make these. Although if you've seen some of my other videos, you'll have seen me making them, and I think I've made them in some of them. Yes, I have, I think. Anyway, we've got vintage photo, peeled paint, barn door, spiced marmalade and fossilised amber. And this is just tea dye paper. And all I'm going to simply do is to stamp some leaves on here. Next, well, you could say that this isn't really a next because it's stenciling again, but this time it's just stenciling straight on the page, not with the inky background. I've already put a stencil down. This is it. I was just washing it then. This is actually a house stencil. I got it from the homeware department, and you can pick them up. You can pick up those big stencils really cheap. I think that just cost me £1, less than $1. And there was 3 of them, I think, in the pack, because at the end of each season they just want to get rid of them. And I just love the fact I can just put down a big bit of background. And then on top of this, I'm going to use this stencil because I love this stencil. And the background I've done with, I should tell you what I've done the background with, shouldn't I? I've done with Stays On, olive green is this bit down here. And then of course I've had to use pistachio is this kind of different green there, and I've had to use potter's clay, of course, haven't I? And now I'm going to use a variety of colours on this. I love this stencil, but I do wish they hadn't put that in there, but I don't think I'm going to worry terribly because that's probably not going to be used. Oops, you weren't supposed to see that because this is one of the ones that isn't yet available, but I'm using it. I've had a bit of a mare today, you might have noticed. Things haven't quite worked out as I intended. The inking didn't really work out as I intended, and the jelly printing didn't work out. So the jelly printing needs a what's the word I want? jelly printing, you need to kind of use the plate quite a bit. I think warm up the plate, use it quite a bit. That was dandelion, by the way. This is pumpkin spice. And you need to use it quite a bit to kind of warm up the plate and get it playing properly. And I don't have the time to do that because, as you probably have gathered, there's been a lot of prep in these pages and I've not finished yet, and I'm supposed to have a video out. We're running out of time to finish these pages and get my signature done. So and then another of my favourites for those of you who've been watching me before. And if you're first time watcher, I'm so pleased to have you here. I really am. I can't find my rhubarb stalk brush. Okay, we'll just use one of the ones that hasn't been used yet. Purple on the rhubarb stalk. I don't mind about that. Oh, I think that's because my rhubarb stalk was on one of the sponges. Oh well, never mind. Let's move that up a little bit. Start this side with the sweet plum, and I haven't spoken yet about the competition. It's not a competition. I keep calling it a competition. It's not a competition, it's a draw. So as I stencil this, I will tell you about the draw. The draw, you have to like, comment and subscribe. You subscribe to the 8 channels if you haven't already done so. You like all 8 videos for each of the 4 weeks. That is this week, signatures, next week, embellishments, 3rd week, binding, 4th week, no, 3rd week's covers. Brain. So that means you've got 8 videos to like every week for the 4 weeks. You also, as well as liking the videos, you need to comment on the videos. Get on with it, Kirstin. You're screaming for me to hurry up and finish this video. Let me know what I've got to do to enter the prize draw, because there's lots of fabulous prizes in the prize draw. And what you've got to do is you've got to subscribe to the 8 channels. You've got to comment, like each of the 4 videos of the 8 collaborative, and then you've got to also comment. Some of them might ask you a question. If you want to answer a question because you don't know what to comment, it's quite nice having a question to answer in the comment. She says, trying to think of a question to ask you. What question could I ask you? How about I ask the question? Right, okay. I've got a question for you. This is the first week that we've got 4 weeks, so that means we've got another 3 weeks where I'm going to need another 3 questions. So my question to you for this first week is, what question should I ask in the next 3 weeks? And next week I will ask one of those questions, the following week I will ask another of those questions, and the final week I'll ask a third of those, the third one of those questions. So this week, that's the question you've got to answer. What question should I ask in the other weeks? There we go. Now this one's ended up quite different from this one. It's because what's underneath is very different as well, but I'm really like that, and it does actually work well as if it was a whole big leaf doing that. So that's that one. Huh. Why, you may ask, as you say, huh. I'm saying huh because I went downstairs because I'd forgotten something that was downstairs. And in going downstairs and just forget, I thought I'll just download, because I recorded my phone, upload it to my laptop, splice together, because what I try and do is try and record sections so it doesn't take so long to upload and download and stuff. Splice together, and I've just discovered that what I didn't do was I said, here we're going to do, we're going to print on these stamps on this tea dye paper, and then I managed to not have any stamps on tea dye paper showing you. And now you'll see them later on. In fact, you'll see them right now, because those stamps on the tea dye paper, this is obviously where I got myself in a fuddle, because I decided to go and scan them before showing them to you, and then I forgot to show them to you. I'm going to put them up on the screen now as stills. These are a freebie from me for this week. I've made 3 pages, which is 6 pages, 6 images in total, and I've scanned them all in, and there'll be a freebie in my Ko-fi shop, which you can find down below. You will also find my freebies from this week from Stacy and Karin, and I'll just put them up to remind you which 2 are mine. And I'm telling myself this as much as I'm telling you, so I remember to do this in when I come to editing this bit on. You'll see that in these freebies, some of them are the same leaf throughout the whole page. Some of them are more crowded, some of them are looser, some of them I've done a mixture of different styles and things, just because I wanted that, but also because I wanted to be able to offer you a mixture depending on your taste, whether you like it really busy or whether you like it calmer, whether you like everything the same, or whether you like all the different images all jumbled up like the leaves are in the leaf litter. Sometimes when you walk through the leaf litter, it's a whole load of different leaves. Sometimes when you walk through the leaf litter, it's just one leaf because there's just one tree in that particular place, or that tree's dropped all its leaves and the others have still got them. So that's that. Sorry about that. Okay, so the final offering is turmeric paper, having dealt with that offering. Turmeric paper is very easy to make. It's a bit like making tea or coffee paper. What you do is you put some turmeric in. I choose quite a thick cotton because the colour will leach out, and hopefully not too much of the powder will leach out. There'll still be some of the powder that leaches out. So once you've let it soak for a good half day overnight, hot water, turmeric, then put it in while your water's still hot, and it will soak into the paper better. Leave it overnight. In the morning, take it out, give it a rinse just to get because there will be a bit of powder on it. Let it dry. Then you want to get yourself, this is a stencil brush, and just brush it off, because you will find there'll still be some little bits of turmeric on there. So just brush it off, give it a wee brush off. And then I've rounded the corners. I tore this in half before I put it in the bath, just so that it would get this darker edge along the edge. But I still need to ink the rest of it. So I'm just going to quickly do that. We're now moving on to actually nearing the end of all my endeavours to make a signature. As I said, I'm going to make 3 signatures. I don't need to show you how to ink a page. I think I'm going to bring that one further along here, and then put a different one in that gap. Oh, put this one in. That one's saying, use me, use me. So I'm going to use it. Let's just have a bit of that sticking up there. And you see those ones you can still have sticking up if it's sticking on top of another one. It's less. And that needs another one, because that's only 4, and you know the rule of thumb. Let's just use an uninked one on here as well. You know what I'm like. It's got to be an odd number. There we go. So that's what I'm doing, and I've not finished yet because I've got all the rest of these to do. The turmeric pages, and I've got some other pages I think still to do. So do that on both sides, and then back to the turmeric page. I'm going to go pick one that hasn't been done yet, and I have here pine cones. And what I'm going to do is, I've got some vintage photo archival ink, and I don't know if this is going to work. I've not even tested this yet. I just had this idea after I'd gone to bed last night, and I'm just going to roll that like that and then see if that, it might be I need to use paint to get a, I do like the pattern though. And the thing is, I know that that's been done with a pine cone, so that kind of, I've got some ones that are really open, but I had a feeling ones that were really open weren't really going to work. But let's just tap this on the top and see what kind of, yeah, that's not going to work. But let's see if we do, let's have a look. I quite like that. It does make quite a good pattern actually, even though I might have to try it. Shall we get some paint out? I do like that kind of pattern. And it's knowing what it's made with as well, I kind of like. That's kind of fun. Or does it look a bit like a cheetah now? Nah. I'm wondering if I go further down there, if I can get a more of the bits that aren't open. That's really interesting. Let me know in the comment. Oh, see, that one was kind of, so doing maybe a round. Is that better? Oh, let me know in the comments what you think about this idea. Do you? I really like the marks it's making, but then I'm a big fan of mark making. I'm going to keep these up here for when I want to mark make in the future, because this is a very, I think this is really, I really like this. Let me know if you like it. It's perfectly all right for you to hate it and think, what a load of nonsense, Kirstin. I really like it, and I really like it because actually I can, because I know what it's come from, I can kind of, see, I think it works better doing this kind of roundy motion. Because I know what it's come from, I can kind of see it. Right, what I'm going to do is, just going to do a couple more of that. See, I thought I was nearly finished, and then she remembers, I think I'm going to have to give that a clean. Let's think, what's the best thing to clean that? Oh, maybe I should just clean it on that, wipe it off on that, get rid of those wee bits. And what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to get out some, what's this? We've got some, so yellow ochre. I do tend to call it yellow ochre for some reason that's best known only to me, and I don't know why. Let's try a bit of this. Let's just roll it in there a bit. So I picked up the paint. Probably should have rolled it out and then rolled it on, but I'm not convinced I'd have been able to roll it on. But let's see what happens with a bit of this. Oh, that's quite nice, just as a different colour actually. Quite like the two-tone nature of that, though I don't think it's really making much of a different mark to that of the ink. But I'm really liking, oh, see, that one's maybe a bit more. Really liking this. So we'll pick, some of these are top pages like that, so that's a top page, and that's a napkin. Some of them are bottom pages like that, and that's a bottom page on a napkin. And I don't want, in each of the signature, I don't want the same halves of pages. So that's napkin. So I've got my napkin pages. So let's go past all these, because these are napkin pages. And then I want a top and a bottom of the different multimedia pages. So this is the ink and stencil, so that's a top one of those. This is the jelly printing, which I then put a layer of. This is, I didn't use the other one at all because I was just wanting one page, but I don't know if you can see, I've just traced around the shape of these some bronze and some gold just to make them stand out a bit better. But that's a bottom bit, so that's one each of them, because there'll be one each of the multimedia. That's jelly painting. Then we have to have a bottom and a top of the leaf pages, and you can see the leaf pages here. I'd already cut them up, so that's why you didn't get it. And the bottom and the top of a blue page, a blueberry dyed page, and a bottom and a top of a turmeric page. Now I've only got one of them that's got the leaf over, and that's only one side. But then what I need to do is, let me just put these, get this cleared out of the way. I hope this is making sense. It will certainly make sense when you see it all together in the journal. That needs stuck down a bit better, but that's okay for now. So there will also be, which I can't show you at the moment because, what did I do with, I'll use this. This is going to be one of these pages, but it's not been done yet. So this will be the cover, and I can't show you the cover yet because the cover freebies aren't out until cover week. So I can't show you the cover I'm going to use as yet. But we'll just pretend this is the cover. And this is another of the multimedia pages. So half of this will be in one of the other signatures, and half will be in the other of the other signatures. And so we've got the tops. That's a top, and that top's longer than that top, so I'm going to put that top, and they're not necessarily going to start at the same point. And let's have this as a top, because then it can be a big top underneath there, bringing that right down. This is a bottom, then we need another top. And the thing is, I can decide whether I want the top to go that way, coming down like that, or that way, going down like that. And because that one's going down that way, I'm going to have that one going down that way. And those are the pages, the leaf pages, because they're full size, that give me the full width of what the journal will be. And then I can decide within then how wide or narrow I'm going to make the pages. And so you've got layers of leaf litter that way. Then let's just get these sorted out here into what as the, these are all very much of a same. Oh, I haven't put my yellow in. Let's put my yellow in the back. Let's put the yellow in front of that one, shall we? Because then we'll get a little bit of that in there, and that just gives us a bit of height. That one can go that way, that one can go that way, that one can go in the middle. Oh, shall I put it? No, let's put it in that way. Let's put that pumpkin the other way round, just because I want that bit a wee bit higher there, and then put that in there. This hasn't got its leaves in. Just try and imagine there's leaves in this one as well. Put that one in there, because that's, I think I want these two the other way around. No, I want that one underneath there, don't I? That one underneath there. That one then goes on top, and that one goes on top of there. And so, I don't really want to fold this at this stage because that page is going to be in something different, but, oh, and I don't want you to see that. So, when you open the signature, you will have some pages, and then you will go through and there'll be pages with leaves and stuff, and then you'll have the really deep leaflet will be your center page, and then you can flip over these pages and flip over these pages, and then you get to pages where you're flipping more back. And I hope that makes sense. when we've got the signature, when we're doing the covers, I hope it'll make more sense of the covers, because clearly the other thing is, as you can see here, I can't bind this in the normal way. So the binding is going to be fun. I know how I'm going to do the binding. However, the binding will be fun and the covers will be fun, because I can't bind it on covers week. But so it means I'm not going to be able to show you a full signature, how the signatures are, until the very end. But I hope you get the idea of how they are with that. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you got some ideas, or even one little tiny idea out of this video. I hope you're having fun making your own October hook video. Well, some of us are making the video, but just making your journal. Lots of ideas. Remember, go and see the other collaborators if you haven't already seen their videos. They're all linked down below. There's been some fabulous ideas so far. Several of them have got me really intrigued as to what's going on. Claudia and Karin in particular, I'm really wanting to know what they're up to. But the other people, everybody's been doing some lovely stuff. So go and have a look. Pick your favourite bit from all the signature videos and do your signatures that way. Or do, if there's 8 of us, do 8 signatures. Outdo Stacy and her gator mouth of a journal that she's making. Actually, so is Jodi making a bit of a gator. I think there's several of them making a bit of a gator mouth now I come and think about it, actually. But outdo them and do an 8 signature journal for each of the 8 signatures you've seen. And then they can't say, oh, look, my journal's enormous, because your journal will be even bigger. And then post it in Crafty Dragon Designs or Creative Paper Artisan and all the other channels, Facebook channels. Post it in those other channels. Well, if you post it in Karin's and Stacy's, you'll get a free entry into the draw, because I can't remember if I finished talking about the draw, because I then got all excited about my pine cones, didn't I? Oh no, I did a separate bit about, oh no. Let me just make sure I've mentioned the draw. You've got to, oh, I'm going to be sacked. I've not used the kit. What I have used is freebies that I've then torn up, and now I haven't even told you the stuff I'm supposed to tell you. Everything, all the channels are linked down below. You get 30% off the kit. If you want to buy the kit, you get 30% off both kits. The 2 mega kits, It's Fall Y'all and Woodland Creatures, Autumn Woodland Fall. Oh, I can't remember what it's, sorry, I can't remember what it's called. I'm sorry. Right, I'm going now. Everything was in my starting video, and it was all right in there. 14 freebies for this week. Go find them. Enjoy. Love you lots, especially for putting up with me. Bye for now. Keep crafting. Have fun. And I've just noticed the wire's been in the way the whole time. Why didn't somebody tell me?